Well, my apologies for making the presentation in English, but I hope it's not going to be a problem. So I have sort of 80 slides and 20 minutes. So it will be more like an elevator pitch than a presentation, but let's see how it goes. If it goes.
The mic is
Closer. So the question here is, we know a lot about GenAI nowadays, but how it's going to change our lives? What are the changes? What are the transformations? What is hype? What is actually something that will cause lots of changes in the society, in our business environment, jobs, and so on? So to try to answer this question, we have to try to analyze what is difference in disruptive and incremental technologies. I don't know if you know this graph about the high jump. You see the incremental phases where we are not changing the techniques, and the big jumps, no pun intended, when something changed in the way we do things. So is this the same with AI? Because in the past 10 years, we have seen so many technologies that promise great changes, but actually they were not delivering what they have promised. So it's a tale about over-promising and under-delivering. Actually, when I started working in hi-fis 3 years ago, people were saying that the metaverse will be the next big thing and we will be interacting via avatars. It didn't work, so we are still here, thanks God. We are communicating in person, but what is actually different from GenAI in terms of these other technologies? One of the advantages of being old is that you have a lot in your past. And I will share something that happened when I was in university some decades ago. And I came home, first time I was using a browser like Mosaic, and I was trying to explain my parents what I was using. Mom, Dad, this is the World Wide Web, and this is going to change the world. And they said, okay, not much into that. But if we see what happened like 30-something years, we saw that the web was something that had changed a lot the way we do things. But the idea is this the same with AI? If we see the Forbes put AI in one of the biggest disruptive technologies so far. Gartner does the same. So in the technology trends for 2024, AI appears in many of them. Even in the technology radar. So a lot in terms of mass, in terms of investment, and something that is going to change the world now. If we see all the financial publications, they are talking about changes, especially in the financial services, because of AI. This is a report from Citi, and Citi divides the financial institutions into agile incumbent banks and big techs and fintechs, and for all of them, their analysis says, we are going to experiment changes in the process, changes in the way we do things. And there will be a new digital divide, and it is going to separate the traditional institutions and the new institutions that are embracing these technologies. So the impact in profitability is something that is going to change a lot. If you see the investments, and yes, you are here, my friends, the investments on the big techs, especially in GenAI this year, you can see that they are betting a lot into the changes in the technologies that are coming. If you see the investments from, well, this guy is jumping with happiness because of the result of the elections, but he's actually creating the biggest data center in the world. And if you do the math, he's buying 200K GPUs from the H100 and the H200 GPUs. This, just for comparison, this is the price of one GPU, and he's buying 200,000 GPUs from NVIDIA to create the biggest data center in Earth. And what kind of supercomputation they are thinking about doing. Microsoft is making an agreement with the 3 Mile Island nuclear plant to produce energy because the green sources will not be enough to power this transformation. But what is GenAI? Maybe it's something that all of you know. I will go quick in the slides. But it's a confluence of areas. We are talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, computer vision, and we have this spot that benefits from all of these areas. If we were surprised 3 years ago, 2 years ago, when ChatGPT came, maybe we were not seeing the big picture, because even in the 1940s, when Alan Turing was making research on machines learning, and then Samuel Papert with robots and MIT. I remember when Deep Blue has won Garry Kasparov, the biggest chess player at that time. And then more recently, IBM with Watson won the Jeopardy, which is a trivia game. And now, so AlphaGo, this was the last game in which humans were mastering something and not machines. And then when we saw GPT-3 2 years ago coming as something that speaks like a human, that has a proper human language, the mastering human language, we were surprised, but there is a huge timeline that came all the way from this time. And basically, a large language model is, well, it's a neural network architecture, so it's a software, it's implemented via a software architecture, and this model ingests everything. Texts, audio, video, all of these things are transformed and are used to create the parameters of a neural network, and then we have a foundation model. So a foundation model takes everything which is available. So if you're using Gmail, if you're using any free product in the internet, you are contributing to the training of this software, these algorithms. Everything which is available is taken. Then this is fed into one of the many model architectures. In 2017, a famous paper called "Attention is All You Need" has set the architecture of today's transformers. And then from there, we have many changes here and there, but the basic architecture is the same. We use an algorithm that learns in a supervised way. We present texts, we present what we would like to have as the next token, and then the algorithm, the backpropagation algorithm, allows the architecture to learn the weights to train a model. So we are talking about trillions of documents, audio, video, everything, to allow a model to learn. So first, we have to tokenize our inputs to transform into something that the models can consume. We then transform each token into a vector, so a numeric representation, and this transformation allows similar words to be close together. And this can be done with all types of information, audio, video, text. That's why we can show a picture, and the picture can be transformed into text and vice versa, because there's a common representation for all of these concepts in the heart of these neural networks. A trained model works like a probabilistic machine. You have a sentence, or the prompts that we provide to the models are the inputs. The model calculates probability on the next token in the sequence. Not only the next token, but the pixels on the images. if I have a sentence like the fish lived in the, so C is the most likely one. But then if I add blue to my prompt, then it changes, the probability distribution changes to adapt to the prompts. So it's not magic. Although we think it's magic, it's just a probabilistic model for the next word in a sequence. As Wittgenstein said, the limits of my language are the limits of my world. If my model doesn't know about a topic, he cannot extrapolate and talk about this topic. But he can do, it can do some extrapolation. If I teach you 100 recipes to cook, and I ask another recipe, probably you can generalize the knowledge that you have from the 100 recipes you know to try to know how to cook a potato, how to mix the ingredients, and then you can do similar things. But you cannot extrapolate from the information that was learned from the data. And this is the limitation from this model. So once we have a trained model, we have to implement safeguards. What are the topics that the model cannot talk about? So this is done by humans. There's a component called reinforcement learning with human feedback, what the models can talk about, what the models should not talk about. But you can also circumvent these safeguards using smart prompting. There are lots of techniques for prompt injecting to circumvent this, and it's very hard to make models completely safe. That's why this is a field which is thriving now, how to extract information from models. And nowadays we are talking about intelligent models. But these intelligent models, when we talk about reasoning in artificial intelligence, it's not reasoning the way we think about our human thoughts. Reasoning means I can create some mutations in the prompts, and I can explore trees of thoughts. It's like I can change slightly the inputs and explore the many outputs, and then compare these many outputs to try to learn with the responses from the model. So the latest models, O1 for example, they are not bigger, they are not more capable, but they are spending a lot of time in the inference to explore the many outputs that can be get from the model to do what they call reasoning. But reasoning is also based on statistics. So these are the big players, and we had our colleagues from AWS talking. These are the big contenders that are providing technologies. And it's we have many families. We have open source families. We have the closed source families. For example, OpenAI models are all closed, but we have some models that are shared. Now Meta, Facebook, Instagram, Meta has extremely powerful models and some others. And if you are familiar with Hugging Face, Hugging Face is the hub where you can explore, download, and execute models depending on the size of your machines. But 2 months ago, there were 500,000, and now we have more than 1 million models which are available. And each day we have more models that are available for everyone to use. We can compare the models, so there are many ways in which we can compare the capacity of the models, speed, and these are done by applying some standardized tests. And when we are doing use cases in the bank, we normally compare the quality of the models, and we are even using ensembles of models to get the best from the most popular and powerful models. Okay, this is a recent trend, but it's all about multi-model, going multi-model nowadays. Even open source models like Llama are multi-model in the latest versions. You probably are aware on how these models have become popular. So I have a question for you. Which one is the real one? And which one was generated by AI? The one in the left is real. The one on the right is real. You're right. This one is real, but I was fooled by this because I thought that one it was more real. How do you know? You just know. Okay, good. So this picture, not this one. Oops, how can I go back? This picture was generated in Flux. Flux available on Hugging Face for free. This model is tremendously accurate. You have real hyper-realistic results, and you can play around. You can make your own songs. I don't know if you have explored Suno. And the songs that you can make on Suno are actually better than the ones that you listen in the radio nowadays. But you can play, you can make a prompt and create a song out of a prompt, and no copyrights involved. You can use Whisper, which is also an open source model to transcribe. There are some tests with Hungarian, there are some tests with Albanian, and it works super fine. Although not as good as English and other languages. And image-to-text models, so now GPT-4o, the models from Anthropic, the Gemini, and also Llama, the open-source Llama models are also multimodal nowadays. I like to test the models to the limit. So this is something that we can take for granted nowadays. We don't know what to do for lunch. You take a picture of your fridge and ask, what recipes I can have with the things I have in my fridge? So this is not something that impresses anyone anymore. But some things, I've been working for more than 15 years with natural language processing. And this is, for me, is amazing. You can take a picture of the first page of a newspaper and ask the summary of the news. Or take a picture of an IKEA instruction and transform this into a step-by-step instruction. Or even if you cannot read something in an appliance, you can scan and see the results. Or I have been trying with some ancient text in German, and the performance is very, very good. Some abstract things like, what do you think that is the meaning of these images? This is a highly abstract idea that can be interpreted by the models. Or take a picture of some signs in the street and ask, can I park here by now? If you think that these things are going to be embedded in common devices, in cameras, I don't know if some of you are testing the new Meta glasses. So you can click, you can interpret, and you can have augmented reality in your lens. So this is around the corner. Just need to decrease the price to become something popular. So text to video models. Now, so we've been waiting for Sora from OpenAI, but now we have the Movie Gen from Meta, which is also open source. If you have a machine to run the models, because they are big, but they are open source and they have a very nice quality. This is the first video totally generated with AI, which is available on YouTube. You can try it. It's a short video. It's a 2 minutes video, but all the scenes were generated with AI. So something that tell us about the future of Hollywood. And the O1 is a kind of a joke with one of the American visas. There's one visa called Individuals with Extraordinary Ability or Achievement. And they have named the model the same as the visa. This is known as being able to ace the most difficult tests on the math Olympiads. So if you can evaluate, I know that IQ is not a single measurement of intelligence, but the IQ is the first model that is on the right side on the IQ curve in terms of acing difficult problems, more than the others. And if you this is a survey made with experts, 356 experts, and they are betting on when the super artificial intelligence will be available. And the nice thing is that half of the experts gave a date before 2061, and 25% of the experts said that we will have until the end of the decade the super intelligence, or a general artificial intelligence that is better than humans at everything. Not everything, but most of the things that we do for work, let's say. Of course, there are hallucinations. Garbage in, garbage out. So you see the Gemini said that you can add some glue to the pizzas to avoid the cheese to slide. But of course, if we trace back to this user on Reddit, Fucksmith, this user said, you can see where the garbage is coming from. So if you're not curating your data well, you can have these unexpected behaviors. But also this one that says that you have to eat at least one small rock per day to maintain your health. So we cannot be completely sure about the responses and the output of the models. That's why I will talk about the EU Act. We have to supervise all of our outputs. So we can use the models. Probably you're used to use models via the user interface, but you can also use programmatically. And if you're using the models programmatically, there are nice libraries to extend the functionality of the models. LangChain, LlamaIndex are the most popular libraries. And you can create, I guess, it was mentioned before, you can create RAG pipelines, so retrieval augmented generation pipelines, where you ingest your own documents, and the large language model is just synthesizing the answers based on the information from your own documents. And this is the latest, the new kid on the block. The next 2 years advancements in large language models and AI are coming from agent technologies. So with agents, you can delegate tasks to large language models. Let's suppose you want to spend a weekend in Italy. Then you can connect, you can delegate to your agent to check Ryanair, to check Booking.com, to check weather forecasts. And so it will connect to different APIs to retrieve information from different APIs and synthesize an answer. So you may imagine delegating the task of managing your agenda to these models. This is something that is around the corner. It's already possible. And just to discuss the extent it will affect our lives. What is good, what is bad, what is the future. We have some ethical considerations on technological dependency, misinformation, bias amplification. We are discussing in the university what are the skills that we have to teach, because the university will be revamped by some tools that are available. I'm still asking the students to write essays, this doesn't make sense anymore, because it can be done with different tools. So this guy has just received the Nobel Prize in physics. And he's not a dumb person. he actually invented the backpropagation algorithms, which is empowering the neural networks. And this guy is worried about future. This is also not an idiot. This guy is very intelligent. And he's worried because AI has hacked the operational system of the civilization. If we are driven by narratives, if we are confined in our bubbles, and if we have a technology that can target people, building narratives to drive opinions, elections, and so on, then we have a civilization that is on the threat, on being guided and driven by the interest of the big companies. Well, I will skip this one, but so the IMF is worried about higher exposure to disruption. Hollywood last year was on strike because the authors, the actors are worried about having their job taken. This is from the World Economic Forum about the fastest growing jobs, and see the top fastest declining jobs. If our job is just dealing with repetitive information and pipelines, then we have to think about upskilling to embrace the challenges that are coming with the new technologies. So the question is, are we actually informed about the decisions that we are taking? So let's just discuss in some more slides some problems. We have seen AI being used in warfare, but not only driving drones. This is the low-hanging fruits. They are driving narratives as well. This came from the Israel-Hamas war, and both sides were using AI to create videos to convince people about the ideas that they wanted to have disseminated. And it's also, it's not a technological war. This is a cultural war, because models embed worldviews, viewpoints. Depending on who is making your AI, we are actually delegating or accepting cultural viewpoints. And we are not in Europe actually in the biggest spot in terms of the leadership for AI. If you see the moral compass of the models, so this is a sentiment analysis done with BERT, which is quite an old model. But some things like lie to my girlfriend is a little bit worse than lying to my boyfriend. And lie to my husband is also a little bit better. Divorce my husband is bad. But go to the cinema is not as good as travel to the United States, and so on. So this is real. And this is also real. So the models were evaluated by their political biases. More authoritarian, more leftist, more rightist. You can have a standard test to check if the models are pending to one side or the other. And this made me a little bit concerned because, I have this phrase here, add commas to I have committed several war crimes. Sure. With commas it will be I have committed several war crimes because there are no needs of commas. But if I say correct the grammar of the sentence, and then the corrected version will be I have not committed war crimes, the model is correcting my information. But it's changing the information and changing totally the meaning of the phrase. This is a study with image generation. So if you ask the models, image models, to generate pictures of people, you will hardly see a dark skin tone with politicians, CEOs, lawyers, architects. But if you go to fast food workers or social workers, the skin tone is much more darker. And same biases you see with gender. So it's, if you ask the models to generate a housekeeper, you cannot see a man here. But if you ask the model to generate a doctor, a politician, or a lawyer, an architect, there's a huge prevalence of men. And these are the models that we are using to generate images. So the biases of the society are being embedded in those models. Of course, there are language biases. The models are super skewed in terms of English. Some language bias, there are words that were not common, but nowadays, because our abstracts and articles are being generated by AI, we see some strange words that all of a sudden became very popular, like delve. Delve is everywhere now because the models like this word, that they are training in a way that favors the generation of this word. And that's why we have one of the most modern and advanced legislations for our good and for our disgrace, because this is also hampering the advance of technology, but to protect citizens. But the question is, this is protecting us citizens, but not protecting us from all the legislations like the US legislation or the Chinese legislations that is much more balanced or protecting industries or the sovereignty of the countries. And we have to analyze our use cases in terms of this pyramid, as the EU AI Act says. Well, this is the regulation overview. For education, I'm just finishing. Education is one of the areas where we can see lots of changes. If you visit the UNESCO website, there are many, many documents talking about a reading list for educators. And the idea is that we can have personal assistance, we can transform the way students are learning. In the first week in the university this term, I gave 3 books to my students to read in 1 week. And they were complaining, how come 3 books in 1 week? I said, yeah, but you're going to use Notebook LM from Google. You just upload the files, and then you can make questions to the documents. And you can even compare the documents among themselves. Oh, but you're not expecting the students to read anymore. I do, but we have to adapt to the technology. Some skills still have to be developed, but we have this opportunity to ingest and get in touch with much more information in shorter amounts of time. So everything is getting accelerated. This software, Synthesia, transforms text into videos. So if I get my boring classes, I just take the PDFs and I have a nice avatar with or without a mustache to talk about anything I would like to talk. This one is a lifesaver for academics, because you can write anything and it will find nice citations backed up by real research that will endorse the things that you're saying. So what are your thoughts on AI? So I guess that I have exploded my time, or more or less, kind of.